shots anyway. So,
But that's not good.
yeah. So, hello.
Yeah.
And welcome to episode 6
Number 6.
of
Six.
that's
Oh.
right, of the FtMtF Podcast, starring thank you, starring thank all of us, starring
Yes.
artist Jake Alfieri,
Hello.
the grand creator.
Oh, like thank you.
Yours truly, DJ Nikki Jack. Woo woo, represent. And today we have a very special guest.
Special guest.
That's right, the one and only Duchess Davi.
Yes.
Hey.
We're very happy to have her.
So
Keep the applause coming.
yeah,
Yes.
bring it. So Duchess, why don't you tell us a little bit about you so we can know what you do?
Well,
Why you're so incredibly fashionable?
it didn't always start that way.
No.
It never
Takes
starts
a lot of work to look like this, right?
It gradually came.
Honey, I know how long you were in the bathroom.
That's
So, like,
right.
yeah, in front of the mirror. No, but but
Talking
seriously.
to myself.
I am beautiful.
I got there in the end. But
It's
yes,
the
I
end result that counts.
Of course.
And check it out.
You start out that way. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
This,
okay.
this is
Hey,
our
you
common
see,
problem, as
this
you
is
can
our
see.
problem.
we continue to. Well, when you're having a good time, when it's authentic, people and see that and they enjoy that.
Well,
So, yeah.
thank you.
We're asking you to
Conversation
talk, and then
just
we're
flows
talking over you.
naturally.
All right.
Right.
The lips are
Zip
zip.
it out.
Okay.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, obviously, I'm Duchess Davi. I came to New York probably like 6 years ago, originally from Chicago.
Ooh,
Yes.
Nice. Another cool city.
Very cold.
Yes, very cold.
Beautiful
Cold.
architecture, but very cold.
Yeah,
But
Right.
a lot of good art, a
It's-
lot of good stuff, music.
100%. And
Oh,
food, definitely
blues.
pizza.
Without-
Blues
too
and house
cold.
music, and I don't know about the pizza. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. No, that's New
I
York
cannot
thing.
hang
I
with the
can't.
deep-
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
I
a
need that
good
skinny
deep
crust.
dish
Yeah.
pizza
If I can't
will
fold my
change your life with the
no,
meat
if I
sauce.
can't fold my pizza, then I don't know
Oh goodness. Well,
if.
so
We'll
I
talk.
am here now.
Yes.
I went to school for fashion design, and that's one of the reasons I moved to New York. I knew I didn't want to stay in Chicago, so I moved here for fashion design and started my career in fashion design. Actually, I started my way in fashion design was through internships. Anyone out there listening, and they're like, I can't get into fashion design, do those internships.
That's but they
and
always
take them
love
serious.
That. Yeah, take them serious.
Oh, yeah.
How do you get your
Serious,
foot in the
because
door?
that was my foot in the door.
Yeah.
Hey,
It was definitely my foot in the door.
You know what? That's like good for like anything in life.
Any kind
Anything,
of a job.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I talk about, like, for me, 2 years ago when I was in my 20s.
A few years ago.
Oh, by the way, hold on. Hey, Danielle and Grays and Blues. Danielle is my cousin.
Hi, Danielle. Nikki's
cuz.
cousin.
Listen, it's hard for me because I'm old and I can't really read what the hell is on my screen on my phone. So if you go on Facebook, you can type in things and I can answer them. We can all share it. And
We have a
it's
bigger
fabulous.
screen there.
Yeah, we have a
Nice and
huge
big.
screen right in front of us for us two old folks. And we're still like
And
this.
I'm the oldest, and I still can't see.
Oh, boy.
Any case, kisses. Go, stay healthy. So, about like how to those internships.
No,
so
they're a great way to learn.
Yeah, no, I started I fell into being in the music business and event production and live sound and all this, but I started doing like really horrible sucky gigs.
You
Everyone
gotta
has to pay
start
their dues.
somewhere.
You gotta
That's
pay your
right.
dues.
Exactly correct.
And that's what I tell people. Listen, you want to be a DJ? Do
So
a
DJ,
lot.
do a lot of free stuff.
Free
Yeah.
stuff, horrible
gotta do it.
gigs. It
As an
will
artist
pay off, but
yourself,
you have
yeah.
to pay your dues.
You had to do the same thing as
Right.
an artist. You did different events. You did gave your work into different auctions.
Right.
For good causes and things like that. And you gave the piece.
Yeah,
They
you get involved. You
They
pay it
didn't
forward.
buy it from you, and then they.
It's an investment.
It's totally.
And you meet new people too. You make those
Networking.
great
Right.
connections too.
It's networking.
So
you gotta pay your dues.
And so are you designing now, or what is it you're
But
doing?
I don't design for myself. I'm an assistant designer at a brand called Maison de Papillon.
Oh wow.
Maison de
Maison de
Papillon.
But
Make
that's
sure
great,
you
assistant
follow them on
designer.
Instagram,
Yes.
Facebook,
Wow. And
Venmo,
what's their
Etsy.
line?
I don't know, wherever.
It's their website, or they have the Instagram Maison, Maison DE and Papillon. I believe it's like House of Butterfly.
Ooh,
But,
yeah,
um,
Maison de Papillon. That's what it means, literally.
Yeah.
But I love the brand. I'm actually wearing it right now.
Are you really?
Wow, it's beautiful.
Hold on.
I just planned it at the last minute.
Listen, we have to. To be fair,
you
stand
gotta
up,
do
stand
it.
up,
Oh.
stand up.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can see my hair. Those are gonna
No,
cut
you won't
off.
be able. But
Oh,
it's
look
beautiful.
at this.
And it's all silk. Yes.
It's all silk. It feels so
It does.
smooth.
It looks
Has
like
little
it
pockets too.
You know,
I love it, and I love the
breathes
cuff
very
detail
nicely,
too.
the
right?
color is great.
Your mother would have
You
approved.
can-
She would have.
you can
definitely
tell
would
the
have
stitching
approved.
is on
Yes.
point.
Yeah, no.
Like
it's
that is
beautiful.
like
And
well
those
made.
Big cuffs. I love the big cuffs.
Oh, I love the big cuffs. Actually, I'm with you on the big cuffs.
Yeah, yeah,
And
I
I
like
love
that. It
that this
looks
can
cool.
just turn into like a cute little,
Yes,
little
you
bow
can-
detail, but it's
beautiful.
so gorgeous outside. I was like, no,
Yeah, you
bow
don't
tie.
need.
Oh,
You don't
let it-
need
let
it.
it
But it
flow.
looks
Let
nice
it
hanging
flow.
down.
You gotta hope. You gotta pray for the wind. That's the right moment.
Pray for the wind and the
But-
right man to go by.
Hello. Sorry, Nikki, I can't be there for the show.
I'll be a little late.
We might be a little late. 15 minutes late.
No, but it's beautiful.
Thank
Fantastic.
you. The ladies there do great work. I'm under the head designer. Her name is Shreya.
Wow.
She's actually from India. And the other designer, she...
Is her last name Lanka?
oh,
But bump.
oh, good job.
Yeah.
No. It's just
Sorry.
Shreya. we gotta have our fun. If we can't laugh,
No. We
Exactly.
got it. If you can't take it.
Exactly.
You-
No.
You got to be able to take a joke.
Exactly.
Everything.
Exactly.
I meant it in love.
You did.
I don't know her, so.
It was fun.
And you know what? She's a very fun lady. She loves to laugh, so she would have took it that way. She
Oh,
would've
perfect.
took it right.
Perfect.
Love,
But,
thank God.
Well, it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
And I love the color.
Shri did a great job with this one, and the other founder, her name is Danielle Salinas, and they're both minorities too, so that's
Oh,
really cool.
amazing.
It's really cool.
Bravo.
They have a minority brand of two ladies who do a great job in fashion, and they treat everyone so warmly, like family.
Right.
And-
That's great.
And y'all are in Brooklyn?
It's in Manhattan,
No,
in Herald Square.
I was gonna say you gotta have your fashion.
Wait a minute, so it's manufactured there?
I believe in the beginning it might have been manufactured in Manhattan, and we did make our samples in Manhattan.
Yeah, we have.
Yes.
Yeah, 7th
But
Avenue or something.
we've been
Yeah.
trying to get the samples made in India now because it's so much more cheap.
Oh, yeah,
of
hello.
course.
Yeah, the price of a sample. I mean, to get a sample made, it's like buying a shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
I used to make samples.
There's a
Screen
sample
printing
company right up the
business.
street here that does samples.
I'm
those-
not surprised.
Yeah.
And then don't even start on the fabric too. The
Yeah,
fabric
yeah.
is crazy expensive.
It's
in
Oh,
India,
crazy,
so, yeah.
especially something like this.
So, yeah.
And you know why? It's because we have to ship it from India.
Right.
Yes.
Might as well just
We
get it
don't-
made
we
there
don't
and have
make
it for
anything
free.
here anymore.
Well, you know what? Maybe we should change it. Maybe we should figure
We should
that
start-
out. Don't let your people leave.
Yes.
Anyway, so
Anyway,
everybody,
it's gorgeous. It is.
Maison de Papillon,
Yes.
and you can, they have an Instagram, I assume. and
Instagram
everything.
and their website.
Or better yet, follow Duchess. And
Duchess
then
Davi.
it's Duchess _Davi, right?
No, it just says Duchess Davi. No pop up. DAVI.
That's right.
There we go.
No T in the Duchess, which actually
I
screwed me
always forget about the T. You know, when I think of Duchess, I never think of the T.
up. No, but
Yeah, but I.
because
yeah,
you think like Dutch,
Yeah,
right? That's
exactly.
like why
Right.
you would say D right off the
Right.
bat.
Mm.
But no, it's Duchess Davi, Duchessdavi. She's
Oh,
fabulous. She
yes.
does great cooking demos and how to wash your
You
hands
did a really
appropriately.
good cooking demo. You need to start making these demos of how to make your dinner from Family Dollar, the
That's
dollar
right.
store.
Dollar Tree,
gonna be
Dollar
the
Tree.
Dollar Tree. I love it.
It's gonna be the
I
Dollar
am-
Tree cookbook.
I am all here for a walk
I know.
around Dollar Tree and finding the great odds and ends.
Dollar
It's
Tree
fun to
cookbook.
walk around.
Oh yeah, and you can literally like we ate dinner before
And it
we
was really good.
we
It
came.
was delicious.
We everybody come
delicious.
over. We sat down. It was family style. People.
We had a good time.
We had
Yeah, yeah,
people. And a full like Italian spread.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, with sausage and meatballs and sauce and blah 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 blah.
Seasoning.
Yeah,
It was all excellent.
and all from the Dollar Tree. So, Dollar Tree, if you're listening and you want to sponsor,
Shameless plug.
Get
Get your girl.
That's right. Ask Chef Nikki. That's going to be my next.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm subscribing already.
So, anywho, what we wanted to talk about today was we mentioned it last week. Is we wanted to talk about when did you know you were trans? I just want to push that. You know what? Let's push that off for a little bit
Okay,
Okay.
let's push it off.
because
We can do that.
Two major things happened this week.
Yes.
Oh,
Right?
definitely.
Yes.
The one of them that was super fun was well, I shouldn't say it like that.
It was for me. It was inspiring.
Yes.
To
Okay.
see.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. So on Sunday in Brooklyn, 200 Eastern Parkway in front of the Brooklyn Museum, put together by a number of organizations, Brooklyn Liberation, Glitz, the Okra Project, Marsha P. Johnson Foundation, I think was part of it as well. But it was the Black Trans Life Matters March,
I'm sorry I missed it.
which was, yeah, you
I'm
know,
sorry,
it was
I'm
super,
sorry.
it was surprising,
I'm sure it was amazing.
especially because, hey, black female trans women are getting murdered left and right.
And you don't
Saturday
hear
there was
about it.
there was two more of them.
Oh, I saw that.
I have the.
Where was it?
There were two different locations, right?
It was in New York.
Yeah, it was two different.
No, it wasn't in New
places.
York. It was outside of New York. But black trans women
Trying to find it. I
are
saved it somewhere.
really the statistic for them being Ayana Dior, right?
Oh yeah, it was Dior.
Yeah.
Well, but that was a couple of
Ayana
weeks ago,
Dior,
and that was she was in New York. Nonetheless,
Put that.
statistically across the nation and across the world, black female trans are the subject of constant
Aggression.
violence and homicide. And so we really, in terms of like a very specific segment that we all need to help, yes, absolutely, we need to march in support to them, because you can't have Black Lives Matter unless you have all Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
You can't have all lives matter until you have Black Lives Matter. You know, it's we all need to you know, we all need to come together, and every one of us, every time, lend our support.
Yeah.
'Cause if it's happening to someone else, it's happening to you. All
Yeah.
right, regardless of if you're the same color or the same whatever it is, set your sexual orientation. The bottom line is, if you see these atrocities and these horrible things happening to other people, believe it, it's happening to you.
It's
Yeah.
your problem.
Absolutely.
It's your problem.
And you know, I know we talked about this last week. I don't know if you knew that immediately after Stonewall, there was a big schism between basically the Mattachine Society and the Gay Liberation Front. The Gay Liberation Front wanted to be very activist, you know, act out. And so they aligned with the Black Panthers. Imagine, right? The Gay Liberation
that's a
Front
while
and the
ago.
Black Panthers in 1970 were working together to further rights for both parties. So
Because they have a shared understanding
Exactly, of
of how
discrimination.
horrible that it
Right.
is. So it, you know, racism is racism, regardless of what, you know, group or individual is being targeted. All right. Right? I
Oh,
mean,
100%.
You know, I mean, that's why I never understood that term, reversed racism. It doesn't make any sense. All right. Not to mention that reverse racism would be not racism. Anyway.
And it also too, it makes no sense how a trans individual could feel violence coming from another minority.
Exactly.
Like
Right.
that makes no sense.
Wait,
like if
no, it
you know
doesn't.
how
Right.
it feels,
to be in
then
that
why are
situation.
you putting them through that just because you don't agree with their lifestyle?
well, you know, so here's what's interesting, right? Jamaica is one of the worst places
Oh, yeah.
for
For
to be
trans.
or any LGBT,
Mhm.
right? That's something that's like baked into the culture, where they're encouraged to murder trans individuals.
Yes.
If you all want to support an organization that works worldwide, the Rainbow Railroad, they're out of Canada. They're the only organization in the world that goes around the world and actually extricates at-risk individuals, gets them out.
That's really good.
They have the support of Canada. They're trying to make their roads in here. I know them,
Mm-hmm.
so and that's why I actually know all about Jamaica, about what's going on over there.
I watched a video. I forgot, it might have been on YouTube or something, but it was just showing like, you know, how it is for some of the not even just trans, the gay people over there.
Right,
and
and
it was saying like,
LGBT.
you know, if they find out, like if anyone,
forget
if anyone just whispers about it, just to be mean,
Yeah, your
it could be a
head-
death
Right.
sentence.
It is a death
You
sentence.
get cast off from your
Yeah, as soon as
family.
they know
like,
that's it, it's done.
Yeah.
You'll have your head in a tire with
Yeah.
gasoline.
You can't get
They
a
don't waste
job
the money.
either. Like they won't hire you. And it was crazy because growing up, there was a famous song, and it was like a Jamaican song, and you know, like they have an accent where you can't necessarily hear the words, but it sounds good. And someone was like translating it to me, and it was like basically talking about like beating up a gay person, like burning them alive. Yeah. And I was like, this song is saying this whole time. I was shocked.
Yeah, right. You didn't know what
I
you were
was
saying.
like, oh my God.
So we marched this weekend. We were very lucky to be able to march
On a beautiful day, no doubt.
And it was a beautiful
It was so
day.
beautiful. And you know, I
perfect
got
day.
there and I was waiting for Nikki to come and join me. And I did a little video recording of the crowds. And as I was recording, 2 cop vans went by and they were honking the horn, showing their support. And then people were clapping and loving it. And it was really nice to see that. You know, the cops and like the marchers working together.
Yeah, especially after everything else that's been going on.
It was. They also, of course, as only the gays will do, they said everybody wear white.
I'm here for a thing.
So
I am always here for a
we
thing.
were all dressed in white, and I will also post up.
Yeah, that must.
Hey,
the
Gab
visual
Simpson.
of that must be excellent.
Oh, what the hell was I saying?
About
You
the-
posted
about
up.
wear white.
All wearing all white, yeah.
Oh yeah, we were all wearing all white. Oh, and so I posted up like the pictures of it. It was so pretty from all up Eastern Parkway, going all the way up the other way. And when we were walking, and
We crossed the Barclays Center. We were walking towards the Manhattan Bridge, and we made a right. When we made that right, it was going downhill. You could see a
all the
sea
bodies.
of all white.
Yeah, white. See, that's
all
it
the
was
way up and down.
It was like Pride.
Right.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
The other thing that was also really neat too was, so, you know, you would think, so here we march. I don't know how this like works out, right? With like the march, like, because you know they're like not really broadcasting this, and they're not really like blocking off the streets for. I can understand why they wouldn't want to do that.
Right.
But so there's a lot of cars that got stuck.
I felt bad about those cars.
Yeah,
But
but nobody was freaking out.
People were so supportive.
All right, well that's great.
massively supportive
that's
in the
great.
cars that were like stuck. They were honking along,
they
some
were
of them playing
video,
music, they were
Because it wasn't planned.
chanting.
They don't block off the streets if you're just showing up. You know
Right.
what
I
I mean?
wondered about that.
No, you have to get a permit for that.
Typically-
it's months in advance. You can't
Typically,
just,
but they're
yeah.
just saying nowadays. I think I've got to imagine what they're doing is they're
Right.
saying,
Yeah,
like,
just have it.
"Hey, Mr. Policeman, I know you're not going to give me a permit, but I'm going to tell you we're gonna march here.
Right.
Right.
We're not, we're going to wait till the last minute to send the calls out. I know we don't have a permit. We're going to march anyway.
Right.
Let you know in case you want to do something to make it a little bit easier for
Right.
all of us, and or just leave us alone,
Right.
right?
And they
But-
did. It was so peaceful.
But the cops were. It was more than peaceful, right?
right.
Because we get to the end. Well, so we get
Oh,
to the end,
boy.
and it's like all queens, right? It's everybody from the spectrum. We get to the end, and it was like we all kind of went, oh, I guess we're stopped walking. We're by another park, and then some girl had like
The box.
had the
The-
box,
the
and the
speaker.
music started playing,
And
then
Nikki
everybody
started
started
dancing.
voguing.
Nikki showed her colors. I was shook. I was like, oh goodness.
And
I
drop for
was
me,
like,
drop for
get
me,
it,
drop
girl.
for me, drop for me. Yeah, you have to. You have to represent.
Nikki showed up and she showed out. She did her thing.
All
She
right.
did.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, I missed it.
Anywho.
Sister was practicing those moves.
I, every Saturday night that I can.
It showed. It showed.
So I can't wait for the clubs to be open. Please let the clubs open
Soon,
again.
soon.
I need to get down to 46th Street.
I'm gonna move for a frozen margarita myself.
Oh,
Hello.
really? That would be nice right now.
Yes. By the way, if there's extra noise coming in from the streets and or music, or it's like probably a Latin variety, we have the windows open. We're in New York and it's hot.
Yeah,
And
it's
Mama's
hot.
not about to turn on the air conditioner.
There's
Because
always
I know.
yeah.
music in this neighborhood.
So,
Oh no, we're not. We're keeping that.
That's
Con
right.
it down.
We talked about it.
Yeah,
Like we
we're
are
like, we're
not
gonna
gonna
go
put
the
it
whole
on.
summer with no AC.
Damn it! No way. So
I'm gonna just
Oh.
wet myself down with the hose.
so Grays and Blues and Danielle, if you want to get on Facebook, just look for me, Nikki Jackson, or DJ Nikki Jax, or whatever. You should be able to find. I should have a live stream. I don't know. I'm not of the age bracket that understands Facebook, so just go and watch, and then you can make comments. Hey, Jenny, hey,
Hey.
Kisses right back to you, honey. So, what was I talking about? All right, so this was an amazing week, an amazing 2 days, right? So, because immediately after that, for those of you who may not know, the Supreme Court passed a ruling supporting the Civil Rights Act of 1964, stating that to discriminate on the basis of gender, orientation or sexual orientation, both are illegal according to the Civil Rights Act of 1964 through a clear reading of the law. And and who knew that Justice Roberts and Gorsuch would support it? In fact, Justice Gorsuch was the one that actually wrote the opinion, the primary opinion on it, right? And for those of you who don't know,
that's the right one.
Yeah, they're primarily conservative, right? So, and why is this important? So, for those of you who are not on the spectrum and may not understand why it's so important, there was a phrase like you could, as a gay couple, you could get married on Sunday and then get fired on Monday.
Right.
I never heard that.
No, I have.
Yeah. Because we were not protected. We did not have we
did not have the same rights as a heterosexual couple.
That's right. And so now, and the way, you know what? Talk about it for a second. I want to actually look it up, see if I can find it, the text really fast.
It's funny that how it came out on Sunday too. How did that happen?
No, it didn't come out on Sunday. It came out on Monday, right?
It came out on Monday. Yeah, right.
I almost thought that like the march was kind of like, was it because of that?
Yeah,
or was
it sort
it
of seemed like it coincided.
It was like
right?
perfect timing.
Yeah. Well, it was good news, that's for sure.
I had never heard of that. I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all, but I had never heard of that. Of someone get married on Sunday and be fired on Monday.
Yeah,
like,
there
who
were
cares?
never,
Who you marry?
Why is it like that? I mean, you don't care. I don't care.
Yes.
Nikki doesn't care. Why would you care?
Exactly.
Why does it matter to you if
I don't
the
have to live with
individual
you.
isn't hurting you or
Exactly.
hurting someone else? Why would you even? I guess I don't know whether these people just
Unhappy in their own lives.
That's what I was just gonna say.
They're unhappy with themselves.
It's got to be that, because what else could it be? You only want to, when you're miserable, you want to share your misery.
Misery loves company.
Right. And so if you can't be happy, you don't want to see anybody else happy. But it's not like we're making these people unhappy.
Exactly.
Transgender or gay people didn't make their lives bad.
Exactly.
That they,
We're just living our lives.
or black people or Puerto Rican people or it's ridiculous. But maybe the revolution had to begin sometime. Maybe we're
moving in the right direction.
Maybe we're. I think so, right? I think so, definitely.
Okay,
all right, Miss Private Eye. She's done an investigation.
I like to be the I've become the historian.
Yes.
Right.
She likes to do her research.
So,
yeah.
in Title VII, Congress outlawed discrimination in the workplace on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Right.
Mm-hmm.
This aside, this is the basis of our civil rights. Right. Today, we must decide whether an employer can fire somebody simply for being homosexual or transgender. The answer is clear. An employer who fires an individual for being homosexual or transgender fires that person for traits or actions it would not have questioned in members of a different sex.
There you go.
Sex plays a necessary and indisguisable role in the decision, exactly what Title VII forbids. Thank you. All right. So
thank you, judges.
Yeah. So now it's the law. Like we.
Oh
The
no.
weight's been lifted.
But then what did the idiot Trump do on these last days too? He's taking out the transgender
For the healthcare?
for the healthcare.
I heard
That was
about
last
that.
week.
I thought it was fun. I guess I just missed it and saw it. I thought I couldn't figure it out because people were like, "Yeah, he's sending me texts. This is great," blah blah blah. And then I saw this other thing that Trump had done, and I was like, "What are we cheering about? Why are we cheering this?"
Yeah.
But it was right. So that was last week he did that.
Yes.
I heard about it last week.
Oh, all right. So I guess I just missed it.
In addition to what is it? Like gays or trans can't serve in the military.
Yeah, well, that he started when he first got in office. Practically, he started that from jump.
Oh yeah, that was early.
People, yeah, that was way early.
That was
early.
Yeah, they were trying to push. There was like "Don't Ask, Don't Tell" that got repealed.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago. Yeah,
right. It is fairly recent that, however, right? What did he do? Transgender? Yeah, it was a big thing about transgender. Specifically,
Don't Ask, Don't Tell was the first like step of people, gay people or transgender people actually being there,
right,
and them knowing that you're there.
So, so even though we have all these wonderful things that are going on right now, right, we can't forget that there's still
a lot to go.
There's still a lot to work on, and
so much, but it's smaller steps in the right direction are better than no steps at all.
Exactly.
But there is, like, specifically the problem that I want to bring up is, so if you're out there and you're watching and you're listening, we still need to work to get rid of walking while trans. It's a rule that allows the police to pick up somebody for loitering or for possible prostitution if they're wearing clothing that they find objectionable.
Okay, and what is their right to decide? Yeah, I didn't know that either.
And this is only in New York?
This is a New York. This is specifically a New York rule.
Really?
Oh, that's got to go.
And they call it walking while trans because they're like,
that's got to go.
Yeah. So I keep trying to bring it up. Like we can't.
Yeah, that needs to go.
Can't give up the fight. We have to keep.
Do you know when that got passed?
Oh, that's about 8 years old now.
Oh, really? 8 years?
Yeah, it's one of these things that like they don't realize. They passed a law and they went.
They slided in there.
Well, no. They didn't, I don't think they meant it like that, but I think it's that they put it on the books and it had an unintended consequence. I mean,
what do you mean unintended? They clearly stated.
No.
Well, they're not saying trans, but what's objectionable? I mean,
okay, so they passed this so
now they can decide what kind of clothes you can wear?
Like for example, 50A. You know what 50A is, right? So 50A.
Wait, is that for the cops?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, I've heard about it. It got repealed.
Yeah, of course. Did it get repealed? Yeah, it was repealed this week. This past couple of days.
I just saw. Yeah.
So 50A is, for those of you out there, is the ruling that kind of hides a cop's record from.
Oh yeah, right. From many
scrutiny, basically.
Yeah, you can't see
So
past
now,
behavior.
which, on the one hand, I think they went into it honestly with good intentions. Like, okay, you know what, we want to try to protect those cops from getting sued, and we need people to like do the job. But now the unintended consequences is it gave bad cops the license to
do
be
whatever they want.
right. So now we have to get rid of it. Whole much longer discussion. So in any case, we've gotten through a very good week. We still have more to fight about.
It's good that it happened in Pride Month.
Yes,
that was perfect timing.
Right?
Yeah, we didn't get a parade.
I'm sure they didn't plan for that, but
I'm telling you, Sunday's march felt like
a parade.
It felt like the parade. That's why I think they went all white. In fact, this is white and glitter, honey. Like
I have my glitter.
I got 3 little things of it. You had glitter on. Your legs were all glittery.
Oh yes, I don't step outside. Oh,
she was like going to like play croquet and sip tea. It was fabulous.
It was lovely.
That's because you weren't like sweaty and standing on like you were right late.
It was a nice day though. It was hot, but
it was so
nice.
gorgeous.
It was gorgeous.
Nice
I had
breeze.
no idea it was going to be so packed. Like
I was surprised too. I was surprised and I was moved. Like that was my first march actually.
Really?
That was my first march. Yes.
Well, I'm glad that you could not have picked a more.
One.
You
and
know
that was
what?
Perfect. Thank you for posting it on social media because if I hadn't seen your post, I wouldn't have went.
Well, I actually have to
didn't know
thank.
about it.
So I have to thank just before we get off the subject is I have to thank my friend Laval, who actually works for the Brooklyn Museum.
Thank you, Laval.
Thank you, Laval.
Yes.
And who is married to my dear good friend Raj. Hey, Raj, yo, what's up? And because I think it was funny the way it works, right? Life works, because I saw that the march is at 1. I saw that at 11. Like
you
like
were meant
6,
to be there.
You were meant to be there.
Absolutely.
We were both
60
meant to be there.
seconds before I posted. It's like when I first saw it, and I was like, "Snap! That's today. Let's post it."
Yeah, and then when I saw the
And then
post,
and then I know you saw it, and then immediately my friend Diana saw it.
Oh, the one that met us there.
That's right. She turned around and reposted it, and out of a crowd of 30,000 people, we somehow managed to meet each other.
We did.
With well, you and I later on, but she was like, I was just okay. I am not gonna. I walk up and I'm like, there's just a mountain of people going up the steps right to the Brooklyn Museum. I'm like, I'm not gonna be on the outside of this. Snap, no. So I'm never on the not in the center. So I walk around. I'm fighting my way through. I get all the way up to the top.
Dodge.
That's all you got to do
like
is
this,
be
like this, like this, like
Vibe
this,
and
skinny.
weave.
If you're ever a club manager, you know how to do that.
Walking low so your bag doesn't like really bump anybody. Excuse me, honey. Excuse me, honey. And then I get all the way up to the very, 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 very,
Top of
very
the
top.
steps.
To the top off to the side. I was like, actually, they were like, you're not pressed. You kind of have to go over there. I'm like, okay, no problem. So, but
You have a show. You are pressed.
I am
We have to
pressed.
get one of
This
those
is
Let them
news.
know.
Flash.
Let
I need
them
a
know.
little sign, Mama Nikki.
Yeah.
Let them know.
Mama Nikki Net. The FtMtF channel network.
That's right.
Yeah.
There we
Soon we're gonna have that.
Absolutely.
Oh.
We have you as
That's
one
right.
our
So
field
we're gonna
reporter.
have
That's
that.
right.
Hey,
That's
Watch,
right.
watch out,
Style-
ABC.
That's right.
It's Duchess Davi. Your
right.
style
From the
and-
streets.
Watch out, logo.
Here's what's going on in Williamsburg. But I was just up there. I wasn't trying to meet her, and then I get a tap on the shoulder, and it's her husband. It's her husband Brian. And
That's the universe, baby. That's how it rolls.
right?
That's how it rolls.
and then you and I connected, and you texted back. I'm like, yeah, come. Just come. You got to be here. You have to be. This march is your fucking march.
Yes, yes. At first, I was gonna make it, and I'm so happy you're like, you're like, just come.
Sometimes
yeah.
you
And I
need that
came,
little
yeah.
push.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it we had a lovely time.
And it's always that way. The last minute things that you don't plan for and you go to. It's always, it's
the
always like the
best.
party you didn't want to go to, and then you have the greatest time.
It's life. Life happens when you say yes.
To it. That's it. Say yes to the moment.
That's right.
And then if you're there, choose it.
We talk about this. I don't know how you
Talk
feel, but
about
we
this
open
all.
ourselves to the universe, and the more we open ourselves to the universe, I know this sounds kind of like hippy dippy, but the more we open ourselves, the more the universe repays the favor.
Yeah.
Gives you what you want. If you want to be crabby and whining all the time, it'll keep giving you that.
That's right.
If you want to be happy and
Stew
grateful
in
for
your
An
what,
optimist.
and,
Yeah.
right, and grateful for what, and look at things that it's happening for you, not
Stew
to
in,
you.
you feel free
Oh, I
to
like the
stew
way
in your
that
own
sounds.
poison. Right.
That's it. It's a choice. Everybody, most people don't want to believe that or accept it. It's a choice to wake up every day and say, "How am I going to feel?
Okay.
How am I going to do?"
Perfect segue. How are we going to
I
feel?
love that.
Okay, so today we were going to talk about, as we promised, when did we know we were trans?
Right. Was it one moment, like a brick wall hitting you? That's what happened to me. Or was it a series of moments or
a series of reveals? Okay.
Reveals.
So, I want to let you tell your story. I want to tell my story. Then I want to get to you. And part of the reason I asked you here, and I even asked you to do this before we had a little bit of a discussion, but your viewpoint is just awesome.
Okay.
So,
I'm happy to help.
yeah.
I'm happy to help.
For all you out there in regular people land, right? There's a spectrum. So
course.
yeah,
Right.
we're
we are
probably not,
Right.
yes, there's all different,
we
there's more than just-
represent right here like
a range of views.
that's right, a range of views.
A range of views.
Yeah, but so Jake,
For me, it was all at like one bam, hit me in the head like a brick wall, and then it felt like in my brain, Now, some of you people that are maybe too young to remember this, but Nikki will remember. Remember the old pinball machines?
Of course.
You know, and the flippers, and then when the silver ball goes up, it goes ping, 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 and
And
the
the
lights
bumpers on the
flash
top.
off, and so that's what it felt like in my brain. And then one thing led, the ping, and then it was like, oh, that's why I feel like this, and then ping, ping, ping,
Makes sense.
and that's why I've been doing this, and ping, 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 and it was just like this.
So,
But it was like one bam.
okay, so very similar from my point of view. I feel like I went through. So there were all these things that, like, as I look back in hindsight,
Well, me too. But
that you go, oh my God,
The
like
signs were
that's
there.
why. Yeah,
The
then you
signs were
say
there.
this is why I did this, and this is why I acted like this.
But we talk about it like it was so not part of the lexicon that this was a choice that we could make, or that it was like in
Or
the
that
realm
I
of
even realized
possibilities.
that was what the choice I wanted to make. For
Right.
me, I didn't even know.
Right. So
Yeah.
which is why I feel that this is such a great long conversation, because it has to do with defining what trans is. What is transgender? It's going to mean something a little bit to each of us.
And each individual, I think, it
Right.
becomes, which we've talked about a lot too, about all the different labels and everything. This gets a little.
Sure, but okay. So to quote from Tu Wong Fu.
Yes. Isn't that
My
the greatest? Do
movie.
you love that movie?
The opening
or
credits
what?
are so magical.
Oh my God! It's just an amazing movie.
I
They
just-
all should have won an award.
I agree.
Every
I
one of them.
agree.
They were brilliant.
I feel like the moment where Patrick Swayze, when he sits down and he starts like to shave a little
Yeah.
and then it's just like you're not expecting it.
No, you're
and
not.
then he puts his
that
headband on.
band
He's
and
like,
his hair.
And
here
his
comes mama.
And he makes the whole change. It's almost
It's
the
the
whole
face
change.
changes right there.
Right.
It was
there.
complete change.
And he
yeah.
and I didn't. From that moment on, I never saw Patrick Swayze again. You know what I mean? In the movie,
Right.
I
Yeah.
always saw her.
Right.
She was amazing.
Vita Bohem.
Vita Bohem. I mean, right?
Bohem.
It never like sometimes it flat. Who they really are would flash. Not even Wesley Snipes.
He was on point.
He was
Can you imagine?
Noxzema through the whole damn
I
thing.
loved Noxzema.
Oh, Noxzema. Was
Oh,
he brilliant or
why
what?
is a little gay Latin
Yeah,
boy in a dress crying?
They were
Little
all
boy in
brilliant.
drag.
Yeah.
I mean, they were brilliant.
I just love that how like dedicated they were
Yes,
to the role.
to the role. That's what I
like in
mean.
the
They went
beginning,
right
when
into
Wesley
it.
Snipes, when he's putting
Oh,
on his
I know, when he's putting
foundation,
it-
and he's just like he's patting that face, he's patting, and he's doing his lashes just
And he put
so
the shoe
delicately. So
the lashes.
it was
I couldn't say
art,
anything
and I
about
just
the
couldn't.
lashes.
Oh my gosh,
He was brilliant.
It-
And then the shoes. He puts the shoes.
They were amazing. I feel like everybody was amazing.
They
in that
were. They
movie.
were all amazing.
It's
They were all
filled
great.
with the cast that you wouldn't even think like
You wouldn't.
Stalker
Everybody
Channing
was
Right,
in
from
it
Grease
too.
is in it,
Yeah.
and what's Gwyneth Paltrow's mom?
That's Gwyneth
She
Paltrow's
plays-
mom. She plays the.
She's in it as well.
Yep.
I
She was amazing too. They were all great.
They were amazing.
They were all great.
It's fun. You're gonna make me go watch it.
No,
But you
don't
could
watch
keep
it.
watching it
Don't
over
watch
and
it because
over again. It's
we
so
should.
great.
We need to do like
No, we need
a
to do a
watch-
screening of it.
a watch party
We do.
reaction,
Mhm.
but like
Because
with more of
I-
us. We get
Yeah,
can you imagine? We get like
Because I don't
5
know how
or
many
6
people have
girls.
really, aside, I guess trans people have seen it, but I don't know how many people have really seen that movie. And it's a great
I think
movie.
it was a popular movie. I think it has.
It was it?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah, I
know.
think
I don't
it-
know. I stumbled on it at one time.
It's
You know
massive
what?
cult following.
I think it was pretty popular. 'Cause I
Was
remember
it?
I saw it as a kid, and me as a kid, like I don't have access to go to movies,
Right,
or
right.
so for me to stumble upon it in my household, which is very like religious.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was a good movie.
Yeah.
It was widely known, definitely.
So
I
so
loved it.
to quote, right? If you wear women's clothing for sexual gratification,
Right.
you are a
cross-dresser.
No, he says transvestite in the movie.
Transvestite, right.
He says transvestite in the movie.
Mhm.
And then he goes, if you have too much fashion sense for any one gender, then you are a drag queen.
A drag queen.
Right. Right. So we can stop there because the rest of it is.
Right.
But so I kind of and you know what? There is another element really, which is
Yeah.
transgender, which is
Which they
identifying.
talked about, right, but they refer to it in the movie as transsexual.
Right. Which
That
is
term is not
you know what,
used
it's-
anymore.
It's just a.
But
term.
back then, yeah. But
Okay.
when they made the movie, that's what
Um.
people were calling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel bad about the word.
No, I
like,
mean it doesn't bother me, but I can understand where it.
So
I think
for some
transgender
people.
is a better
So-
fit.
Well, so I feel like we have like these three sort of like points, right, on the spectrum. You have cross-dresser, which is a transvestite sort of for sexual gratification.
Right.
Then you have drag queens, which are typically gay males, and really it's theater, so it's really not part of the spectrum as I see it.
You won't catch them dressed up like that anytime. It's
No,
just
no,
for like
no, it's
performance.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Just for performance.
And then you have, and
they're
we
doctors,
love them.
they're
We
lawyers,
love our drag queens.
Right.
Exactly.
That's where we get our makeup from. This is where, anyway.
Oh my God, they're amazing.
And then running out. Then going all the way to the other side is transgender, which is identifying as the opposite sex through gender dysphoria and da 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 da. So, but there's like all kinds of points in between.
that as well. There's
Right. And so
which
what?
I'm sure there's many that haven't even.
So what I find interesting for you, right, is so I'll in brief.
Right.
I went through all sorts of sexual dysphoria, throughout my whole life, and then I got into this. It started out with the cross-dressing, which is I
Right.
think how it usually happens. Then I
You gotta
realized,
start somewhere.
well, yeah, you don't know. You're
You
like,
don't know, and that
you're
would be the
experimenting, you're
go-to
playing
spot.
around.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That would be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, you put on the clothes.
Right.
Yeah.
right? But then, for me, I feel like I moved past that like super fast, and I realized, oh my goodness, that's when that pinball
Yeah,
analogy
like,
went
bing,
off
bing, bing, bing,
with
bing,
you.
bing. It's
And
like-
I remember like, oh my
I know, I
goodness,
was
I
sitting
identify
downstairs,
like for
yeah.
my whole life, like
Like I know.
I
because
must
things
be
that
this.
You realize.
You pick it up.
Say I did this because of that. And
Right.
I didn't recognize myself in the mirror pictures because there were breasts there, and now they're they didn't belong to me.
Right. Well,
You know what I
feelings
mean?
of
all those things.
to me, it's coupled with like feelings
Right.
of inadequacy,
Oh, absolutely. I had
masculine inadequacy.
so much self-loathing that I didn't even realize how bad it was.
Right.
Really?
Really, really. All the time thinking I think I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. All right, so that's how buried
It was.
it was. All right, and not because of anything, it's just that when I'm 59, when I was 6 years old and would have been spotted as a trans child.
Now, right.
All right, now, I mean, who talked about that? It
Well,
wasn't even a
Great. So let
I'm
me
happy
get
you
point of
brought that
reference.
up.
Right?
What they?
Like nowadays it's different.
Yes, thank
They're-
God
they're-
for those kids.
Exactly,
I
but you
suffer.
always get those people who are like, let those children be children. Don't put ideas in
No,
their
no,
head.
You're not.
they-
You're getting out of
And
the
it's-
way.
Yeah.
Oh my
You're
God, I
letting
can't
them
stand
be
people like
themselves.
that.
Yeah, it's so annoying to hear
They
that.
have no idea
And I
what
think
it-
you're gonna
what
how
they
you're
feel.
gonna go. Like for me,
Well, so I know exactly how. So I know that I identify as being female, right? I recognize that internally within myself,
Right.
there is a number of traits that are far more feminine.
Yes.
I feel much more comfortable in the feminine role
Mhm.
in almost every aspect. I am happy to be moving further and further away from testosterone. If I could only give it to you,
If you could only
if I could
give
only
it to me,
suck it
we
out.
could get one of those, things, and we could sit here like a dialysis thing, and you could give me all of yours.
Honey, I could pump
and
you.
Then I could get the other stuff that I get. Oh
There we
man,
go.
I would be in heaven.
Even exchange.
All right?
I could pump
You can't
once a
have-
week.
I don't have any more estrogen because I went through menopause already and all that, so I wouldn't be able to get
that's
that.
okay.
Done.
But for you, honey, just to get it out of my
Whatever,
system.
man.
He's out of there.
Take it.
So
I hated it.
But so so I know I am on that binary side of the conversation, right? When we talk about people who are
Right.
binary, non-binary, I am more on the binary side. But listen, I live my life and very relaxed in terms of my interaction with people and how they perceive me. They perceive me however they want. I don't care.
And that's a
Right?
fact about everybody. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? It has
Exactly.
nothing to do with just transgender
So-
people, or everyone's out there. It's
Doing their thing,
wrong.
yeah.
Or the people that are judging, like
And-
this person is to this, or this
and
person is
Angie.
to that. It's not exclusive
Mhm.
to us. And,
Exactly.
So-
and
So one of the things I wanted to bring up was, now I wanted to get this way because I want to say like you are, you know, so I want to keep calling you Butch, but that's like
but that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me.
Good.
I lean very much.
I mean it in
masculine.
That's like
I'm
the
very
most
masculine.
Yeah, that's like me
You know,
being upset that I'm feminine.
Feminine.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm very masculine.
exactly.
And I like my masculinity.
And I love my feminine.
Yeah, exactly. And so does she.
Exactly.
All right?
Which is something that actually, so now you have a particular take that's interesting.
Right, that's different
which is
from
different
ours.
from mine.
Yes.
You know, and a whole different, you know, because even though we are very close in age.
Yes.
I'm the old one. I'm the only old one.
Ladies never
Everybody,
reveal their age.
the ladies are young. I'm the only old one. It's me.
But, you know, you grew up differently and you have a different perspective. So why don't you tell us, let's start with really first, like how you identify.
Well, you know what? It's so when you first mentioned doing this, I was like, this is interesting because I, believe it or not, do not identify as trans.
Right.
And it's funny because even as a baby, I was always told, "Oh, she's such a pretty girl."
You were referred to as a she.
Right.
Even as a baby, before I even
And I was
speak,
always being called a man.
I was always
my whole life.
Really?
My mother would always say, "Oh, that's such a pretty girl," and my mom would go, "That's not a girl, that's a boy." She hated it. She hated it.
Really?
But it didn't bother me. I was always been feminine my whole life. I don't remember a time when I wasn't.
It didn't bother
masculine.
you. Yeah, like it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me when they called me man.
Amazing.
I've always been said that's a pretty girl, and I have two sisters. My mom and dad, they're still together. My dad is very butch and very masculine, and I was like, I'm feminine. I knew who I was. I knew I was gay from day one.
Right.
Like there was no like I like girls. I knew it, which is what bothers me that people are like, you know, let kids be them, don't influence them. Like I already know who I was.
Me too. I wanted to be with girls from jump.
Exactly.
There was no difference.
No. But for me, just growing up, I always known I was femme. Like if you look back on pictures of me in 4th grade, nails were just as long. I had long nails even in 4th grade. Those long lashes.
But that they let you be yourself.
They let me be. They hated it, but
they
let me be it.
You know what?
My
God bless them.
Yeah, really.
My father
That's amazing.
I am very fortunate, you know. because I know there are kids
and
out
in
there
Chicago?
Well, the fathers would beat it out of them.
Exactly.
You know, if they came out with a dress or with makeup or whatever. I mean, you hear this horror stories all the time.
I've had a very fortunate childhood. I know they didn't agree with it, but
they still
loved
you be.
me.
They still loved
me
you,
be.
and they still let you express yourself.
So I was very fortunate in that.
Yeah, that's
aspect.
amazing. That's great.
Now, did you so you were feminine your whole life?
Whole life.
So you never at any point really adopted any of the more traditional gender
male gender roles.
Yeah, male gender roles like or
I would probably say when I was a kid, I was in like high school. You know, I did the baggy clothes thing.
Right.
I even had a little bit of like a little goatee, like a small mustache coming in. You know, because you know you're young, you're finding yourself.
Sure.
It's bits
you
and pieces.
Know.
I don't start this way. You know, this comes through time.
Right.
And after our college, I want to say, is when I kind of like started to dabble in little things. I was working for a brand that gave us free makeup at the time.
Oh, hello.
Great.
And that's how
Why'd
I
you
started
have a
getting
lead?
into
Yeah, right. Well, except for to get to this, I'll go.
She's got free clothes.
And I started off with using like mascara and eyeliner. And I went home. I did not hide it. I'm very much a person like, if you don't like it, that is your problem. I love what I see in the mirror because I have to go to bed with myself at night. And I need to be happy.
You have to live with yourself.
You have to love yourself. So I refuse to let any of those demons in.
Right.
So it started out with a little makeup, and I moved to New York, always femme. And it started with a little eyeshadow, then lipstick. And a few years ago, I saw a skirt that I loved. I just had to have. I still have to this day. It was a pink pleated leopard skirt, black and hot pink spots on it.
God.
I still have it.
Of course you do.
I love that skirt. That was like my I'm coming.
Yeah, that was.
Of course you do.
That was my I'm coming out skirt. And from there, I kind of like got into women's clothing, and I truly, honestly, I feel comfortable in it, and I've never looked back. I remember, I always tell this story. There was one time I was at my grandmother's house, and I was talking to my grandmother, a very fashionable lady, and I've always been feminine, so there's no hiding me.
Right, yeah.
And at that particular moment, I was checking my mascara in the mirror. And my grandmother goes, "Oh, you look very pretty, dear."
Oh,
and I'm like, "Well, thank you, Granny, for
Grandma.
noticing."
She was right there.
She was
Well, that
right
had to-
there.
that had
She
to
didn't miss the
feel-
moment.
Yeah, but
That had to feel some validation,
That,
right?
yes, I loved it. I
Especially with someone
cherished
of her
it.
age.
Yes, and I have a
You know,
close
you
relationship.
see,
with her.
that's love. That's
That is
acceptance.
love.
It's so simple.
Right.
You know, plus that being older too, you realize what's to judge.
Yeah.
You know, you're her grandchild.
She
She's
loved
gonna
me for
love
me.
you. You know, and she stated a fact.
Exactly.
You look very pretty.
Right.
You know, but that's great.
My mother hated it.
Oh, yeah, but the fact that she still let you do it.
So,
yeah.
So you've grown up in this, in this feminine role, basically your entire life.
Yes.
And confident of it and being, that's very fortunate. You know, you feel you're a
comfortable
confident
in skin, yeah.
person.
But why?
Forget about gender. You know what I mean? You were confident enough to say, "This is what I'm doing." Whether it was this way or that way, whatever it.
Well,
It works for me.
Right,
But
it works for you.
this seems to me that you would be the textbook example of a trans woman.
All right.
But that's
It
why
makes sense. But
you're right.
that's why I love that you asked me to be on
Right.
here, because it was like a realization that I guess trans could be a spectrum.
Right.
It doesn't have to be
It
just
is.
like one set thing.
Yes, or
Oh,
one
right.
set.
Oh, it
way.
is-
It's
it
the
is a
same-
spectrum.
It's the same
We
thing
know
with
this-
this whole, there's only males and females. There's
Right.
there's
the
many,
broad
many
spectrum.
more, and that you're a certain way, I'm a certain way,
Correct.
she's a certain way. I understand why everybody wants to put a definition on it and a label on it, but I
It's
think it
shorthand.
would be
It's
so
mental
much
shorthand.
easier though if it was just
It's
hi, I'm and you're
Yeah.
relating to this person by who they are inside, not where they dress or whether they have makeup or whether they don't have
Exactly.
makeup.
So, I did this podcast with a friend of mine, Noam. Hey, Noam.
Hey,
Hello,
Noam.
hello, Comedy Solar family. Where I was on his podcast talking about, it was literally last year, right about this time. And, his podcast producer was like, write a little blurb about yourself. So, all right, okay, so I do event production, and I've been doing this for so many years, and I specialize in my life. It was like a resume, right? It was like I was like a LinkedIn blurb, right?
Multifaceted.
Well, not so much that, but the fact was like not one word in my entire preface, my
Had
entire thing,
anything to do with your gender.
nothing to do with sex, nothing to do with orientation,
Right.
And so I gave it to my friend Noam, who started reading it, and he was like, la la la. He's like, nobody wants to hear about this. I was like, yes, but that's the point. Like,
That's the exact point.
this is who I am.
Yeah,
My real identity is what I do, what I produce, like my accumulated knowledge in audio and just doing live event production. This is how I define myself, and I find that I have acceptance in the world at large because I don't carry, I don't have to carry my flags
flag
with
on it.
me
That's
all the
exactly-
time.
yeah.
I'm not going to hit you over the head with it.
Right.
Exactly. I get the same thing. People always say that I never really have bad experiences when I'm out and about. And I've been to plenty of places. I've been to upstate New York and Long Island, Chicago, of course. And when I'm in these different places, I never get bad experiences. And people always say, because we feel like you're authentic.
Of course.
You're
Right.
not, you're just being you.
Right.
And people love and find inspiration in
Yeah.
that. They feel like you're not just being like loud just to be loud.
Right.
Like,
You're
This
not
is
being
who you
extra.
are.
You're not being that.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not being that
It's who
ratchet
you are.
queen.
Right.
You know what I mean. Although we love them.
yes.
But yeah,
You can
yeah,
always tell
everybody-
when someone's being actual. They're not being authentic.
Right.
People can pick up on the BS.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah, right away.
So, okay, so completely related story to this. So this past weekend, I produced a outdoor graduation, a socially distant graduation
Yeah.
for a Catholic school up in Westchester.
Oh my God. The Catholics.
You're walking up to them what?
The Catholics are the scariest of all.
I did, and I'm walking up and because
You were
it was
confident.
it was a love. By the way, it was it was a lovely event, and everybody was lovely, right? The whole staff and whatnot. And I'm walking over. It was like a nice little train ride up, on the Metro North, and it was only like 0.4 of a mile. So I was like, honey, I'd do that going to the deli.
Yeah.
So, and it was pretty out, I saw trees, and so I get as I'm walking right as I'm walking up right on time in front of the church, the my contact drives up, and he's like, hello? I'm like, yes.
You're like, I have the right person.
Right.
Yes. How you doing, Fred?
This is Nikki.
And then I go into the church, and then I meet. There's the pastor
And the
of the
lightning
school.
didn't strike. Right?
Yeah, and I could see them
No burst of flame.
Yeah. Right.
like what was that movie? Like The Devil's Advocate when he goes in the holy water.
Yeah. Then it gets hot and it starts boiling.
So no. But I walked in, and at first the two of them were like, "You sure?" But I just opened my mouth and I just was talking about the event, and I was like, "Hey, listen, you should do this. You should do this.
Right.
We walked the space. I think you should add this." And they were like, "Oh!" Within about 90 seconds of hearing me talk
you're
about work.
Being natural, they had no reason.
They knew you knew what you were talking
Yeah,
about.
right.
They knew you were a professional.
And
Right.
your sex had nothing to do
Right.
to do with it.
You get the job done.
Exactly. You know what other church I do their event every year. The Greek Orthodox, the Greek Archdiocese on the Upper East Side, their Greek Easter celebration, which is outdoor. It's a moving ceremony. I swear I cry every time.
Right.
Where the streets are filled with parishioners holding candles and singing in Greek, and it's just moving. But I produce their event every year. Why? Because I get it done.
Yeah.
I get it
Bottom
done
line.
on time.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it should be across the boards with
Right.
everyone, with everything.
Right.
As long as you're not hurting anyone or hurting yourself,
Right.
and what's the problem?
Right.
Why should there be a problem? Can't we just all be good?
Yeah.
Sure.
Each other?
And now this extends
know.
to being black, being
Exactly.
white, being
Middle
Disabled.
Middle Eastern, or disabled.
Disabled, I mean,
Can
there's
you do the job? So this is what. Okay. So this is interesting, right? So this is why I have historically been conservative in many of my belief systems, because if you are a true capitalist, you don't care about race, sex, gender, orientation.
And how is that? And that's a strictly, not we're going to get on politics now, but I didn't know that was a strictly conservative view.
It's to be
Because I'm a straight up capitalist.
Right.
I believe in paid for services. The
Well,
whole thing.
right.
I got no problem with
quid
it.
quid pro
All right,
quo, but that's
right.
but to embrace.
When it's being abused, different story.
Exactly.
But
Well, sure, but I think that anybody that is so, nowadays it's nowadays
I
the
just never
conservative.
realized that. You just taught me. So I didn't realize that was
Could be a thing.
a thing. I mean that was a conservative posture.
Yeah, like a conservative. If you really want to be conservative and be a straight up real capitalist, you want the best person for the job, no matter what they look like, how they talk.
Yeah, you get it done.
Again, I never really related that as only being a conservative.
It's not specifically
Right.
conservative, but it's and now a conservative will be very mad at you if you say, or a strict capitalist will say, no, you have 10 positions to fill, but we want you pick the first 9 as you wish, but the 10th one you have to reserve for this specific minority group to fit with the profile, even though they may not be the best person for the
All
job.
right, but that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother
It's a
episode.
whole nother conversation.
So, That's affirmative action.
Yeah. I mean,
That's affirmative action. This is why, like, I have my problems with affirmative action. Anywho, so I know that I became. Oh no!
Did we lose something?
Yeah, we
Oh,
we
time us out.
we're
Yeah,
over the hour. That's
time
okay.
us
We
out.
can talk as long as we fucking want.
Okay.
I'm sorry. We can talk as long as we want. Mama Nikki has to stop swearing like a sailor.
You know
Wow.
what? I had to make a recognition of myself doing that too. I had to stop doing that. My father was a terrible curse word.
Well, especially when you're working, right? If you're just
Yeah,
working, yeah, exactly. F this, F that.
But his racism didn't rub off on me, but his bad mouth did.
Nope.
You know, which if you have to have that one, that
Yeah,
would be.
no.
Oh yeah, take that one.
Yeah,
Take that
I
one.
was happy
So-
to take that one.
So for me,
Just
like
add
to know,
some masculinity.
Yeah.
to me to know that I was trans, you know, it the moment when I realized it was as trans. First, like I had to define it
Yeah.
to kind of know. I think I had to define it because I had to know what I was moving towards, and I had to, in some way, find people with whom I identified. I realized I didn't identify so much with the drag queens,
Yeah.
but that was my first foray.
Yeah, but I never identified with the lesbians, so that was always my problem too. With that. I mean, I was gay and whatever. But
Well,
I
yeah,
just
you've
never
always
was-
had your.
So you always knew you were gay.
Yeah. Always.
Well, wait,
I
as
was
the
sleeping with kissing girls from young. Not sleeping with them. I was kissing girls from way back. I knew I wanted girls.
but that's so there's a difference. There is being gay
right.
versus when you say lesbians.
I
That
never
word
liked
comes
that
with
some
some certain
Yeah,
baggage
because
like it refers to a specific type of
right. I mean,
of female
it's
gay.
and not a positive, and it doesn't leave a positive.
we love you lesbians.
connection. No, I'm.
Yeah,
It's
we
not their
love you,
fault.
yeah,
It's,
right.
It's a society. But to me, it was never, and I never related. I mean, it's just for many reasons. I mean,
Right.
we could talk about that all day long too. But
You ever been with a woman?
I have never been with a woman.
Never.
Is it like a platinum gay or something? What is it on Will and Grace? What is like they have different levels of it?
well, yeah, that was because I was even though I didn't fit in the lesbian community, I was very popular because I had sex with a woman first before I ever had sex with a man, and many years before. So they were all like, really?
Really?
Yeah, that was like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Because most of them slept with men and then hated
Right.
it or whatever,
Mhm.
or just hate men in general, and that's why they wanted to sleep with women. All right, so they were very, they wanted to hate me, but they couldn't hate me for that.
Oh no,
They couldn't hate me.
I knew what I wanted from a young age. I've never even kissed a girl before.
You really up to this day?
I've never kissed a girl before. All the way virgin.
Oh,
That's
really?
funny.
Yes, I've never.
Honey, you ain't no virgin.
Yeah, but whatever.
Clutches purr.
Purse first. Purse
Purse
first.
No, when you know what you want, you know what you want. You know what you
Yeah.
don't want. All right. You and I both experimented with both sexes.
I have a child.
Yeah, I
I have an
understand
18-year-old
that.
I have a
I
19-year-old
didn't go as
daughter.
far
When
as
you
but
told me that, I was like,
I know.
I know because how could I must have had her when I was 2.
I was
Yeah, right.
No, I have an amazing daughter. That is the,
No, but she
the
she
love
knows.
of my life.
And she knows.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yo, I'll tell you a funny story, which I don't know. I told you
Yeah, you
before,
told
right?
me.
So when I have the moment, because I've lived. So obviously I've lived my life, right? I lived my life. I grew up with a full male identity, and I lived the whole role where I married and child and a house and bills and responsibilities, blah blah blah,
All
blah,
that.
blah, right? And then my first, I remember October 2009. I know because I actually literally carved that into a loquat tree on the yeah, it's a tree with very nice fruit.
Mhm.
In Florida, because that was a moment when I realized first. My first, I had all these other things, but the first step in realizing actually maybe I wasn't straight was I was having incredibly unfulfilling coital relations.
Right.
You know, where it absolutely was not part of. I realized this
You
is
just
not
were
right.
Not into it.
Yeah, no.
Right there.
Like to the point of like crying afterwards. Like this kind of a thing, right?
Well,
Anywho.
these moments are profound. I mean,
Yeah.
you realize,
They shape who
you
you
know,
are.
Yeah.
exactly.
So at that point, my daughter was. So then, age of explore. I started exploring after. But at that point, my daughter was like 7, 8 years old, right? And so when you're a parent, you have to go.
yeah, it's a totally different thing.
Everything has to be about your child.
Not every parent does that, but that's the way it should be.
You have a responsibility. You brought the kid in the
You
world.
absolutely. I'm
Which
just
is
saying
why
that
I do not have any
you,
children.
Baby, you and me both.
Yeah.
I will tell you.
I'm not ready.
I love being
ready.
auntie and now uncle. All right, because I was
Get the
like,
cookie.
I love them.
You get to give 'em the
you
cookies and
walk
stay
away.
home. All right,
So
right.
I'm with you.
And people would say that I was selfish, and I was like, no, I just know myself very well. That
Sure,
I,
no,
makes
listen,
sense.
it's not-
No, that
you
makes
know
sense.
what?
Not
If
selfish
you-
at
Yeah,
all.
not selfish at all, right?
Right.
The truth is wish more people
Would do that.
would
Do
do that.
Because then there wouldn't be so many unhappy children around that grow up to
Right.
be unhappy adults.
I was
Because their
ready for a
parents didn't
child.
want them.
I
You
love
wanted it,
I
yeah,
loved
absolutely.
every moment of being with my child. And
But you
now,
also realize the responsibility
well,
of it.
yes,
All
that's
right.
part of it.
I mean...
So at that point, to push my story along, was I realized, okay, me shaking up her life is going to have massively deleterious effects, especially at that young age.
Especially.
So I just said to myself, I was like, whatever happens, I am not going to do anything
to damage this being.
until she gets out of high school.
Right.
Then she should be old enough. And the truth is, I probably could have done some sort of reveals earlier on, but I held off because if, I did not want to either be the distraction. I didn't want to ruin her scholastic life because to me that's the most important thing. It was her getting a good education. I didn't want to have her go through whatever kind of problems of having a, coming from like a broken home. Right. Coming from with the parent, the one parent that's like some kind of a circus act, right? I didn't want to drop that on her. So to get up to when I did my reveal to her, and is she accepting?
She knew.
Well, so like I'm at this Dominican restaurant, and I was like, listen, I have something to tell you. It's like I identify as a woman. I'm going to start living my life as transgender. She goes, wow. She goes, I just thought you were gay.
Well, she knew something. She knew something.
Yeah.
Because
she was like,
kids are
wow,
very
you are
nervous.
really gay.
Yeah, that was her.
She was
Especially
like,
when they don't have the filters yet at all.
yeah.
Well,
well, she was 18 at this point, right? And so she, God, I'm so lucky that I have her. And after she was like, listen, she wrote to me, I am really sorry that you felt that you had to live this lie to protect me.
She's a very, very sweet child. Very,
very
self-aware. But that's good. But that's to your credit.
No, it's to her credit. She's just.
I
could not
you
have.
had some influence.
If I'd have written
it,
up,
she didn't. Just.
I
you had
probably
some
screwed her
influence.
up. I know I
Clearly,
screwed her up.
that's not true.
Okay. Every day.
Every parent screws up their kids a little bit somewhere.
Yes, I think you're supposed to.
That one's perfect.
I mean, like they say, we didn't come with instructions.
Yeah.
Right. The first one's always the experiment, right? As they say, the first one's the worst.
Yeah,
You get all the discipline.
I've been there.
Then the second one, by the time you get to the third one,
Yeah,
like, did you lose any fingers?
Yeah. They're like, yeah, you're
I'm
all right.
the baby.
Yeah,
You're the
the
baby.
baby, right?
I'm the baby.
You are?
Yes.
You see?
It's a
That's
totally
actually
different
That's
view.
why you got away with
That's
it. Not
right.
got away with it, but
And
that's
you
why
and I
they were
the
like,
oldest.
yeah. No, well, that's why they're like, wants to, wear a dress.
Let the baby
Awesome.
Yeah,
go
right.
away.
Have at it.
I don't have to. Wait a minute. You have two older sisters?
To the older sister?
Oh,
Yes.
your parents
Right,
love
that
you
people-
because
right, yeah.
you. They save so much money on you.
Yeah.
Your parents were like, yes, I don't have to buy any clothes. Were you all hand-me-downs?
No, goodness, no. My mom spoiled me. She didn't give me any hand-me-downs.
Really?
Yeah,
was
she
the
did.
baby.
I was the
He
baby.
was the baby.
I
You
was
got
her
whatever
baby.
you-
So, yeah, she did spoil me.
Boy, my family, it would have been all hand-me-downs.
Oh boy, no, she spoiled me.
I shared my clothes with my sisters until I left for college.
Right.
Oh boy.
All right. So that was like one outfit for three
3 girls.
girls. All right. I didn't have any clothes when I went to college. It was because I shared the clothes with. I never slept in my own room until I went to college.
Wow.
I'm telling you, and my mother was one of the two that dressed us all the same, which was so like horrible for me, because my sisters loved all that girly crap,
And you hated
and I
it.
hated it. I hated it. Every Christmas, Easter, we had the
Oh,
same outfits.
really? Oh, that
When
would
I
have.
think about
Okay,
it.
honey, I actually feel
it
for
makes
you.
me
That would have
scream.
been.
Well, me on the
Horrible.
other hand, I loved the girly crap as a kid.
Oh, yeah?
Like,
Well, you-
my sister had like these little lotions with glitter. To this day, I love glitter. Glitter everywhere.
Who does not like glitter?
And it was. I used to like, watch movies and like the girls had long hair. So
hair, yeah.
I would go to my room and I would put like a T-shirt on my
Dang.
head.
The way
and I,
Whoopi
like,
Goldberg used to do in her
pretend.
shows. Well, maybe you're too young, but remember Whoopi Goldberg used
Yeah,
to do
and
that
my
character,
long
the
beautiful
little
hair.
girl, and she used to put the shirt
Yeah.
over
Look
the
at my
head.
beautiful
Look
hair.
at my hair. Look at my
I
beautiful
used to
blonde hair.
pretend that was my
That's
hair.
exactly. She did that whole
Yep.
skit. Exactly.
You
like
know, it's
that.
funny you said that because I like it's hot out, right? Because the other
Yeah.
day, so I actually taken off a T-shirt and I was like, oh, I could leave it like this. It's kind of cool. Like, ooh. Ooh.
A little breeze.
Yeah, right.
Keeping that hair up, Anyway,
Oh,
like I love my hair, but sometimes it's when it's hot.
It's horrible. You can't work with it. You can't.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna get rid of it.
No,
For
I know
me,
you're not. No, it's perfect
a-
for you. It's perfect for you. I hated it, not me.
When I first moved to Florida, I was like 2 days. I'm
Fucking
like,
hot, man. You gotta get
this
rid of
has
that
gotta
hair.
go. We went short.
Yeah,
Really?
because it's just so hot there all the time. It's so freaking
Yeah, it's
hot. And the
sticky.
summertime is insane.
Well, now you're in New York, so now it's time for bangs. Everyone,
Oh, no!
Let Nikki know
Bangs.
she's tired for bangs. Don't give me that look.
No,
I have been
not
trying to.
bangs don't.
I have been push
I don't
bangs
know.
on Nikki forever.
You want to put
Yes.
some bangs on her?
I think she'd be so
I-
cute
I-
with bangs.
You know what? She
I
looks
have a-
younger.
I think she'd be cute.
I know, but
Yeah,
okay.
but once they're gone, once they're there, you gotta wait for them to grow back.
Yes,
again
this is-
before you can pull your hair back. It's
Here's my fear,
Okay.
and it's always my fear, and I know, and I break my own rules, but it's being age appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
okay, but
I have a tendency
but-
to wear clothes that are like I should not be wearing.
so you're gonna say just adding bangs to that?
If I feel that if I start like
Right,
putting
right,
like
right,
bangs
right,
in,
right,
which
that
I
you're
would like
really
to do,
gonna-
like but, obviously
Yeah, but
I
you could
have a
try it with a
hairline
little-
issue.
like,
you
could
could
get
do
a
like a little
wig.
attachment.
You could just
yeah.
right, or yeah. you
Well,
could
that
get
I
a
would
wig.
do, but like that,
Just
like
because
I
then
can
you
take it
can
right back
see
off.
what it
Experiment
looks
with
like.
it,
You could,
exactly.
you could try it out first.
No, I there's another trick too where
Oh yeah, you
Oh,
could
yeah,
go like
the
this and
ponytail.
flip it over.
yeah,
in
it's
front.
almost like it's like the female
I've seen
comb over.
that.
Yeah.
But I've seen it look like really good.
Yeah,
like
hey, listen, you can do anything with hair.
but
these days.
I kind of like that like longer, that longer look, right? I keep saying like the Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah,
Who
bangs
had
are hard.
bangs.
Bangs are hard to pull off, though. I mean, they
She
are
had a little
not
bang
easy
in
to
Breakfast
pull.
at Tiffany's.
That's
Yeah, well,
Audrey
that's-
Hepburn,
Yeah.
the young one,
Right.
The young one.
the young perky, versus
Well,
Katharine Hepburn.
Wait, who? Catherine? So what was she in?
Oh my God, Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant.
I'll be right back. I gotta make sure.
Katharine Hepburn. She's tall.
I'm gonna Google it and find. This name sounds familiar, but I can't think of a face.
It's okay. So it goes along with like what I feel is to be my face, which is
Okay.
strong. In fact, I'm even kind of bummed out that I'm at such a strong angle to the camera today because, Mama's not particularly happy with her profile
side.
of the proboscis of the
Okay.
nose, right?
Okay. You told me.
Yeah. But it's me. I just don't want it to stick out as far away from me, right? Just a little bit small. I'm not unhappy with it. And it's, I feel that it's a gender marker. It's like a strong gender marker.
I remember from your first video, and Jake disagrees.
Yeah, I know. That's right. I keep bringing it up. I gotta stop. So, this is how I know I'm old. Okay,
It's perfect. He went away.
Okay, so anywho,
The real team.
By the way, is there anything else that you want to add to the conversation about like when? I mean, you never felt transgender. There's no moment in your life where you had to like flip a corner.
Mm-hmm. You know what's so funny? When I was younger, I remember distinctly thinking that I will probably never wear a dress. I was like, I know I was always feminine, but I was like, I like boys' clothes. But I can definitely say my marker was that Forever 21 leopard skirt. When I saw that, I was like, I want to wear a skirt. And it just was like, it was an aha moment. But before then, I never saw myself wearing a dress. I thought that I would never be one of those gay guys that, dressed like a girl.
So now, I believe that you probably most likely wear,
I'm in girls' clothes all the time.
Right.
My legs are always out.
Yeah, exactly. Hello.
Legs out and a little cleavage. What all I have.
You know what? It's if you carry yourself right, it doesn't matter. I try to talk to other girls about be confident and be cool and
because it shows.
That's right. I think the art of the art of being feminine is that confidence, knowing what you have, knowing what are the unique things that make you sexy, and knowing how to use it and turn it on.
To work with it. You know what's so funny? When I was a kid, I used to watch movies. I used to love watching movies, and I feel like some of my personalities and some of my feminine traits definitely came from the ladies in those movies.
So did you watch older movies? What did you watch?
Any spectrum of older movies. I didn't get into older movies until I was now as an adult, because I can look them up.
Were you talking black and whites? What did you watch? I mean, you just probably watched anything that came up. And as you get older,
so my favorite movies would be like Tu Wong Fu.
Oh,
love that one.
Birdcage.
Or I saw Birdcage older. A lot of the movies that you'll probably name off, I saw them later in life.
Really?
Breakfast at Tiffany's or My Fair Lady.
Yeah.
I saw all those later on.
Yeah, well, of course, because you would not be exposed to that unless you actually got to a certain point. Oh, what happened? What were the movies in the 40s, 50s, 60s? Oh, look at them. They're amazing. Look at these old black and whites. I assume you've seen Casablanca, right?
Definitely Casablanca. That's such a good movie.
That's probably my all-time favorite movie. And I think in terms of, just the look and the ambiance,
yes.
it's so
it's
kind of
magical.
languid, and the way the emotions subtly, you just watch them understated, going through understated emotions going through their faces. It's what a work of art.
And fashion courses, of course.
Oh,
fashion.
My God, Elsa's fashions were just,
yes.
and the way they always shoot it, whenever they cut to her, it's always a little bit defocused. It's just.
Another trick that I love, they do in black and white movies.
Yeah, great movie.
In black and white movies, they would always do do the close up with the eyes for ladies. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
kind of dark, and there was a little strip of light around her
Oh.
eyes.
Yeah.
No, all
I just thought it was so
all the time,
glamorous.
when it's in black and white, right? And Rick, something would happen, and you'd see Rick moving, and then he would stop, and there'd be a shadow across half of his face, right?
Yeah, that's when they had to actually do things without all these fancy
Effects.
But it was
tricks and all that.
brilliant,
No,
and it was
that's what
so
it was.
moving,
And
and
it was
hit
pure,
you,
yeah.
hit you so
It wasn't all
viscerally,
this made up.
right? And at the very end, when they're flying off in the plane. Anyway, what was the water they were drinking?
Oh, I don't know. What was it?
Vichy water. They were in the Vichy government. Oh, wait a minute.
A little fun fact that went right over our heads.
Yeah, right. I didn't know that either. So.
Sorry. It's history time with Mama Nikki. So this is what I think just like amazing about Duchess is that you and I have had like turning moments, right? We've lived, we've had this sort of self-introspective analysis, and then, this is what we are, and we've moved to that position.
All the time.
She never had.
She never had a doubt.
Right. It wasn't a question.
Yeah.
It wasn't
It was
like.
just the way she was, but that's
Which is just so amazing to me.
amazing.
How wonderful it is that you were able to grow up into the role without having to go through this other.
But maybe her age is a factor.
Well, absolutely.
Her age would be a factor. Different than us, who, like we said, we had. There was no point of reference. It wasn't talked about. It wasn't. If I was born now, I would have been pegged like that. There would have been no question.
Right.
All right, and I would have had the words to explain my feelings.
Well, they're right. There would be a vocabulary for it. There would
be something.
It is part of the
refer
national.
to.
Right, it's part of the national discussion now.
Now
that this spectrum
which is
exists.
so great for these kids because really, it was difficult for me. It was really was because I just had no idea why I was so unhappy. And why I couldn't get dressed, and why I cried every time it was the first day of school, and I hated the clothes. And even though my mother tried, I'll buy you whatever you want, but I didn't know what I wanted.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know what it was.
Oh, I know what I
wanted.
wanted.
I hated the dressy, girly stuff, but I didn't know why. I couldn't pick something.
I used to always steal. So I was a dancer, right? And I did it was like Little Miss Susie's school down the street, right? Dance school, like that. That's how I started. I got into this whole business where I'm at today. It's a long story, but I followed my sister to her little tap class, and I just joined in. And I was like, that's it.
That's what you're gonna do.
I want to dance, and then we would do the recitals, and I was always stealing girls' costumes and keep
luckily
keeping
you
the
were
skirts,
able to do that
and then
too,
I started, and then I was pilfering women's clothes, like my whole, not, like my mom's clothes or whatnot. I was wearing bras. Like I remember being in the third grade wearing bras to school, like under my clothes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, hated it.
Oh.
You say I don't miss it.
Hated it. I never bought a bra my whole life.
Really?
Nope. My mother bought me my first one. My sister handed me down to her other ones.
I
never purchased a bra in all the years as a woman, and I needed it. It wasn't that I didn't need one, but I did not buy one.
I have a question for you.
I just ignored them. That I knew they didn't belong to me, and I just pretended that they weren't there.
Well, I do have one question for you, right? And this is actually not on that vein. My breasts have remained painful,
they're gonna
growing.
They're gonna hurt, babe.
I thought I went through that whole thing, but apparently it's not going away.
But probably as you continue to take estrogen, it's probably they hurt.
So
they're sensitive.
It's not so much sensitive as you can't lay on your stomach because it's
you feel,
it's
you
not
feel the pressure.
Horrible pain, right? But it's
plus you don't have very low
it's there.
Yeah, you just feel it, and it's there are times at night where I will.
Yeah, when you lay down and you can. Feel.
I'm
feel
not
the,
that.
No, I understand that.
I mean yeah.
No, but the pain during
Honey,
period and stuff that was the worst.
You know as well as I do, there are plenty of boys out there that have seen this.
That have seen it.
And more.
Oh, boy.
Oh!
That's the OnlyFans page.
Yeah, that's right. That's behind the paywall.
Oh,
All right. We actually at some point need to wrap this up. This is going to be a long one.
It's going to be a really long one.
But this actually leads me to this Monday, June 22. Please join. In fact, you can go buy tickets right now for the Debauchery Ball online. Be Debaucherous, Black Joy Matters. I will be spinning online on Monday, June 22nd at 9, from 9 to 11, in support of the Debauchery Ball, which is the only black BDSM house party out of Chicago.
There you go.
Small world.
Yeah, but there's also there's this party's been going on for years, the Debauchery Ball, and they actually made a documentary about it. And this year everything would have coincided, so they would have the event, they would have the movie showing, but of course COVID, really screwed that up. So what we're doing instead is if for $10, it's not a lot of money. $10, you can watch the film and then be able to watch 14 different DJs from around the world spinning house music. And yours truly, DJ Nikki Jax, is representing the LGBT community from New York City. So please, go to my Instagram and then follow the links, or just call me up and I will tell you where to go.
So give us a 411.
Hey, now that's my big thing that's coming up. Jake has been hiding something here the whole time,
hiding the
and now they're fully
2020.
pressed.
Ooh.
Freakness is uniqueness. Pride.
Get those shirts.
All right.
Get them now.
Look at that.
Come on. You gotta love it. And they're all originals, no two will be alike. So this one looks like this, but another one will look like this and a little bit different.
Mix it up.
Yeah.
By the one and only Jake Alfieri.
That's right.
Just for pride.
Just for
Freakness
pride.
is uniqueness. We all need to get behind
All right,
this.
you gotta like it. It's the movement is happening. All right, we're gonna talk more about it on the next time.
You know what?
Show it
Next
to
time we'll
you
talk
too.
about it.
Right,
Dude.
next time we'll talk about it. Here it goes. All right, wear your freakness proudly.
That's right. So you need. In fact, you know what? I think tomorrow night we should do a bigger one to get it pushed.
Yeah,
Because you know what? We're running out of time.
We are running out of time, and you're getting too
This is a
busy,
soft
and I'm gonna
release.
get busy in a minute too.
Yeah.
And we got to do it, right?
Right. So.
Thank you.
No, Duchess, what did you think? Tell us what you thought.
This was amazing. I'm
Oh,
so happy that you
we're-
guys
and
invited
you.
me.
Oh, I'm so happy
My
you're
first
here.
one, right?
And
Yeah.
I think she gets a special prize for being our first ever guest.
Yes,
I am
you are,
the first guest.
you are the first guest. You're perfect.
Right?
So
we'll
you
have
got,
to think of something to give her.
I'll give you pasta and meatballs.
Oh,
Oh, I already did.
you know I will always take food.
well, she can wear one of the
I
little
will
shirts. You're gonna
always
get a
take
Freakness
food.
Uniqueness t-shirt.
Oh,
Hey.
She'll be perfect for those little ones.
Oh,
that
my
little
goodness.
cute one.
You need
yeah,
I'll
the
style
little
it.
cute one.
No,
right?
you know
I'll
what
style
she
with some
needs?
cute earrings.
She needs one that go. She needs like a one that's like spaghetti strap, and they go like this, and they go like ends of like right about there.
Just a cute little dress.
Uh-huh.
A little summertime dress.
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
like them short. I like a little short
All right,
dress.
okay. You got
to
the
show
legs
the
for it.
legs.
That's right.
Actually, and maybe nothing up here, and then you have it like right on the lower back.
Ah.
Yeah.
Nikki, you're gonna give me a husband. I'm gonna be walking home and find someone.
You be walking along, you turn around
Walking
like a
into it.
trail.
Walking into it.
There's like 5 boys walking, 5 chasers.
I am single. I will take all the help.
Oh,
I
my
can-
God. Gentlemen, you guys can't be missing out on this.
Which
Start
I can't
lining
believe.
up.
Which I can't, but I don't know how, but I do know that you, I'm not gonna say. She's lovely.
He's out there.
He's
Yes.
definitely
He's
out
definitely-
there.
To the nice French man with an accent with lots of money.
Yeah, don't forget the money.
Uh-huh.
Don't, we gotta have
Listen,
that. The green
boys,
light.
if
ain't
you-
nothing going on but the rent.
There
That's
we-
right. Listen, boys, if
Yeah.
you're gonna
She's
roll
too young
up,
for that song too, but you know it is.
ain't nothing going on but the rent. If
Got to have a
J.O.B. if you want
You know what's so funny? My old roommate was a DJ and he played that song
That is
on
a great
repeat.
Yes.
song.
He played
It's
that song on repeat.
Really?
It's a
true,
great
though.
song.
Oh, 100%. Boys, you're gonna roll up on a girl like us.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
number one, have a
That's
job.
right, have a job.
Have a phone,
That's
like with a
right.
real number. Have an email address. Show up on time. Be nice. And you know what?
Be able to speak proper English.
Be able
that,
to-
That would be nice. That
Right?
would be nice too.
And guess what? You are paying for the taxi ride home.
That's right.
Just saying.
As a gentleman, you
Bring
should be
these
doing that,
gentlemen
by
out.
the way.
By the way, also, a Craigslist email relay address is not an email address.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh my gosh.
No, that is not an email.
You know, it's a-
Yeah,
you could
yeah, that's not.
No.
Definitely
no.
not.
What's your email? Oh. Anyway, so
Is this us?
I think we have to sign off.
I know.
We have to let everybody
We're
know
gonna
what we didn't talk about what we're going to talk about next week.
We didn't, so it's gonna
we'll
have to be
figure it out.
Yeah,
We'll-
we'll have to figure it out. We'll be a surprise. We'll post it.
Right.
somewhere.
So
Ooh, we love surprises.
hey,
Surprises are good.
look at surprise.
You ladies are crazy.
Does it roar?
You ladies are crazy.
Is it edible?
No.
Okay.
Don't sweat on me. So,
Thank you.
so I just want to say, and I know Jay feels the same way.
I
It's
do.
we're
It's
very
been
happy that you came up
such a
here.
pleasure.
You added such
Thank you
Yes.
for
an
having me.
amazing
And a whole
element.
different perspective.
Yeah.
I'm
for our
happy you guys.
viewers
It
out
was
there.
it was an enjoyable experience for me too. You know, to be able to talk things out and go over everybody's story, because it's nice to meet up with people and find out their stories,
It's
their
interesting, man.
viewpoints,
Right.
and how the only way to learn is to ask
Exactly.
questions.
Yeah, talk.
And just be open
How
about it.
about
yeah.
that?
Exactly.
You don't learn
Have a
about somebody on their
dialogue.
Instagram.
Right,
You,
right.
you have to have
Exactly.
dialogue.
And this
Exactly.
is
What you said.
real
This is real.
content.
Exactly.
Not this.
Yes.
And you know what? I love this too, because this reminds me of the time that my good friend Miriam, she was asking me the difference between trans girls and cross dressers.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of my good friends, so she didn't mind asking me. But for anyone out
For
there,
other people,
if you want to ask questions, as long as you're approaching someone in a respectful way,
Right.
they can tell.
And that you're interested because
And
you're
and
concerned.
it's the open mind. If you're
Right.
coming from an open mind, it's
Right.
the place of curiosity.
Right. So there
Everyone
are
loves to
those.
answer
There
questions.
are I have seen this often, right? Where there's this thing where it's like, hey, I am not your dictionary, right? There's some trans women who feel offended, probably from having to answer the questions all the time, or
Doesn't bother
repeatedly.
me.
I don't feel that I am bothered by it either. So,
Yeah.
by the way, if you're out
bother me
there,
at all.
and that leads me to, if you're out there, send us your questions. This is why we do
we
this.
ask
Oh, a
That's
little
right.
Q&A. It'd be cute for the next one. Yeah.
Yeah. This is
Start
a-
the Q&A.
So follow us on Facebook. Follow us on. Oh, we don't have an Instagram.
Yes, we
No,
do.
we do. We have an Instagram.
have
That's
it.
what I said. Follow.
We have too
but,
many things.
but more importantly, follow us on YouTube.
Right,
Send
that's
us
where
your
we
questions.
really want you to go.
We want to answer your questions. This is the forum where, for those of you who have been, curious, or you have questions, or
You just
you
want
want
to learn
advice,
something.
yeah,
Just wanna
we're
learn
happy to
something,
answer.
Knowledge is power.
That's right. And so, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Well,
Oh. wait. I got to do it the right hand.
Thank you